Okay,
Yep.
so and if we did have to indicate that if it was running out, we would just use these 4 set screws up here
Yep.
to tram this thing in. Okay, so now what we're going to do is set up the tool length. After we have this thing trimmed in, we're going to set up the tool length. So the way we do that is we tell the A-axis to go to 180, which is going to make sure that this side right here is flat, the 4th axis. And that's real critical. If this was on 179 or something close to 180, then that would not give you an accurate measurement. And then likewise, you also have to make sure the B is on 0, which it is, but we'll just go over that real quick. Just click on Go To for the B, tell it to go to 0. So now I'm going to move the probe over top of this surface over here. Now, the probe has a timeout feature, so it turns off after 2 minutes. So in order to turn it back on, we come back over here to Table of Tools and just hit Start Probe. Okay, now you can see these lights are flashing, which means the probe is on. So now we're going to come over here to a more sensitive mode and just bring the probe down until it makes contact with this surface. So right there, see how it turned to red? You can bring it up, it's green, you're just going to bring it down right until it changes to red. Right there. Okay? So now we know that, okay, real quick, so we moved the probe down to the bottom of it, it's just touching this top surface. This top surface is precision machined from the center of rotation of the 4th axis to 2.5 inches. So that's a real critical number, that 2.5 inches. What we do is, this is tool number 3, so we're going to click on that, double click on it, go to Get Length, and this is going to tell us that the Z touch-off height is 2.5, which is where this is precision machined to. Okay, now for a tool, we use 100 thou shim, so this number would be 2.6 instead of 2.5. Okay, so after we have all of these here, we just hit OK. We check to make sure all that's okay, and the length goes into this location right there. You can just verify that, and you hit OK. And now our tool length is set. Now we also have to make sure for the digitizing process that the software knows that we're using tool number 3. So you click on this on tool number 3, make sure it's highlighted in blue, and then come over here to Set Active and click on Set Active. And if you don't do that, then the software is going to think you're using whatever tool it is that you were using last. So tool 22 obviously is a totally different length than this one here, than this probe here. So got to make sure you do that. Okay, so now we're ready to start digitizing. So let's bring the Z up. Still recording okay? Okay. And I'm just going to kind of rotate this over. I'll start on intake or exhaust?
Do the intake.
Okay. So we're going to rotate this over until this surface is just fairly flat. Oh, actually I went too far. I gotta go. I'll go on right now. There we go. Until this surface is fairly flat. Now you have to make sure that the A-axis is not past 360, so the closer the A-axis is to 0, that's where you want to be. So I'm going to click on the cylinder head that we added, then right click on it and say Add New Port. Okay? So then that inserts a new item over here. I hit the plus sign to open it up. Then I'm going to right click on the new port that was added and say Rename. We're going to call this Inlet. Okay? So there we go. It's just a blank port right now. There's really nothing in it. So now what I'm going to do is pick up 3 planes. We have our manifold plane, our dividing section plane, and then our seat plane. I'm going to start off by picking up 3 points for the manifold plane. So I right click on Close Sections and then say Add New Plane for Probing. And that brings up this little sheet that helps me pick up our 3 points. So I'm just going to move the machine like right over here, touch off 1 point until it turns red. Okay, and then I can come over here and say Set Last Probe. Okay, so that fills in the last time that the probe made contact with the surface into point number 1. Point number 2. It's right over here. Down. That's off. Set last probe number 2. Okay, number 3, set last probe. So after I fill in all 3 points, it fills in a little bit more information down here. And I can hit OK there. And that adds a new key close section into my inlet port. So then I can click on the digitize page, show plane, so we can see what it is that we're working on. You can see there's that plane that we just added. Okay. Now, the 3 planes, out of the 3 planes, the manifold surface is the only one that we're using the bottom of the probe to pick up. So we have to move that plane into the port by the radius of the ball. So when we then digitize it, the center of the probe goes and touches the wall. Okay, so we do that by opening up the plane that we just added, and then double clicking on original plane. Okay, and that brings up the same page that we were just in. And then I have this move perpendicular button. So I click on this, and this red line here indicates the positive direction of the plane. So you can see our probe is up here this way. So since the red is facing down, that means we have to move it in a positive direction. If we moved it in a minus direction, it would go up, which is the wrong way. And it really just depends. If this red line was facing the other way, then you'd have to move it negative. Since the red line's facing this way, we're going to move it positive 0.118. Okay, and then you can see the plane moves into the port by the radius of the tool. Okay, so now we're going to do the dividing line one. Let's kill it for a second.